Good morning, YouTube, BookTube. This is Johnny. Thought I'd make a video. It's been 5-6 days. Today is a Sunday. It is going on 10:30 in the morning here in West Michigan. It is July the 18th, 2021, according to my paper diary. I'm on page 784 for the year 2021. Yeah, as you all know, well, maybe you don't know, but for a couple of weeks we had family visiting. We had our son and his daughter, Marika, visiting from Washington State. And then we had for a couple of weeks our daughter, Bethany, and her family, Andy, her husband, and her 4 children, Louisa, Margaret, Jack, and little baby Nora. Carol and I kept care of little Nora for 4 days as they were up north with a family gathering on Andy's side, so we watched Nora. So it's only been a couple of days since we've gotten things back in order, plus I'm on my antidepressants and my Xanax, which makes me very kind of sluggish. It's kind of like I feel like I'm in a pool of mud. I still am, but I read and I write in my diary, but I find myself kind of sleepy, so I take naps and start walking try to take walks every day in the evening or in afternoons, and so I take my pills and I try to just stay positive. I try to avoid any kind of thing that's negative, so I cut down on the internet, cut down on any kind of noise. I can't, due to this medication, nothing sounds right as far as music, so I listen to, on very low volume, classical music, and I write in my diary. I read my Bible. I read the Bible. I'm going through reading through the Gospels. I was reading through Luke, and I read through John, and then I start reading through Mark. I find those are the books of the Bible that kind of speak to me the most, or the Gospels. So I'm just kind of rereading them over and over again. And when I got into the Gospels, I was into the last days of Jesus. I think I showed that in one of my last videos. And so one of the most recent Reformation commentaries I got in the mail was on the Gospel of John 13-21 in the Reformation commentary series. So I've been reading this because it covers those last days of Jesus before his crucifixion, where it goes up to his crucifixion, and then his resurrection, and then his ascension. I also got in the mail a book that I've been reading and really enjoying, Hidden and Revealed, The Doctrine of God and Reform in Eastern Orthodox Traditions. I can't pronounce the guy's name. He's a Ukrainian theologian, but I think he has become Protestant, that he is now in he is at the Neo-Calvinism Research Institute in Compton, Netherlands. And so I've been reading this, enjoying it. Like I said, I'm a slow reader, so I've been reading still My Crazy Century, a memoir by Ivan Klima. He was a Czech writer. I think he's still living. This is about his life growing up becoming a journalist and a writer under the communists in Czechoslovakia. I'm around 1960s, his life, and he's a journalist and editor, and he talks about life under the communists, the Soviet Union, and about his life, being married and having children, and what it's like writing under the communists and the writers and what's going on in literary circles under communism, not only in Czechoslovakia but in Poland. So it's very interesting. I read it off and on. Still reading the Illustrious House of Ramires by Ika de Queiros. Still reading this. So I read this. Really enjoying. I mean, I read this in the evenings, about halfway through it. And been reading a little bit of a crime fiction by Lee Child, The Killing Floor, a Jack Reacher. This is Carol, my wife, picked up this at a thrift store. This is his first of the Jack Reacher series, The Killing Floor, and I've read a couple of these over the years, and so I just read this off and on. The Killing Floor by Lee Child. My wife picked up a couple of books at a thrift store the other day, Barcelona, on the history of the city of Barcelona, Spain, by Robert Hughes. And she picked me up this book. She knows I'm really into books on the New Yorker magazine. A Year of Change, More About the New Yorker and Me by E.J. Kahn Jr. I already had his other one, this one. His first one, About the New Yorker and Me by E.J. Kahn. This is an earlier one. And this is, I don't know when this first came out. Let me see. This one came out in 1980. This is first published in 1988, and this one was published in 1979. So I got both of those. And then I also I've been buying books I've still been volunteering at the Book Nook, the library used bookstore. I've gotten a lot of books out of there recently, but one of the books I got the other day was this Victor Hugo biography by Robb. I have his biography on Rimbaud by Robb, and I also have his book on Discovering of France, the Historical Geography and Revolution of the First World War by Robb Graham. So I picked this up at the Book Nook, a biography of Victor Hugo. You know, he wrote like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he wrote some very famous novels. So I picked this up at the Book Nook. I already had this in my library by him. I got an email last week that the New Yorker books was having a flash sale. You get 40% off if you buy 4 books, and I had this book in my library, The Siege of Krishnapur by J.G. Farrell, and this is a trilogy. So I bought the other two, The Troubles by J.G. Farrell, which was a winner of the Lost Man Booker Prize. And then I picked up the third in the trilogy by J.G. Farrell, The Singapore Grip. So now I have all three of them in this trilogy. And so I got all three of these. And then I picked up two novels by Robert Walser, who was a German writer. I think he lived from 1878 and he died in 1956. I picked up his Berlin stories by Paul Walser. And then I picked up The Schoolboy's Diary and Other Stories by Robert Walser. I have it in my library and I can't find it. He wrote a novel called The Assistant, and I cannot find it. So I don't know where it is. So I picked these up at a New York Review Books flash sale. So that's it going on here. I mean, like I said, I just take my medication. I get kind of foggy in the afternoons, but I still read. I still write. I go to the Book Nooks on Fridays from 10 to 1 and Mondays from 10 to 1. So tomorrow I go. That's where I've been buying my books. I bought other books I haven't shown. Some I have already. I just got better editions of them, better condition. So, not much else. I try to kind of just stay down here in the lower level. I nap. I listen to classical music on low volume. I read through the Gospel of John. I'm on chapter 14 of the Gospel of John, and I've been reading that in the mornings and reading Hidden and Revealed, the Doctrine of God, and the Reform and Eastern Orthodox tradition. So I read those, and I read the Gospel of Mark, the Gospel of Luke, the Gospel of John, Matthew, and I read these to relax, and I read this once in a while, The Child, The Killing Floor, and I read My Crazy Century. So I kind of read those things. I have glanced at the first story by Paul Walser in here in The Schoolboy's Diary. This is translated out of German too by Damion Searls. He was a German writer, Paul Walser. So I don't know what else. Like I said, I got other books from the Book Nook, but I'm not really in the mood to show them. I just want to just tell you guys what's going on here in my book life, and writing in my diary, and just trying to stay not getting anxious, or just staying positive. But yeah, the antidepressants kind of make everything kind of foggy. But everybody tells me that in time things will get better. My wife is saying it's always going to get better, John. My wife's very positive. So yeah, I watch BookTube. I watch you guys when I can. I really can't take much. I don't really listen to music except classical music on low volume, and kind of stay down here. I start beginning to feel better around noon, around 1 o'clock. But that's about it here. So I hope you're all doing well. I have been praying for all those who suffer from depression, any kind of mental illness or emotional illness and anxiety and panic. I pray for you. I really now, my heart goes out to you, and pray that you keep praying for me and keep reading. Read the Bible, pray. That's what I do. My wife and I, we've been praying more and more. So yeah, I've got nothing coming in the mail. I have been thinking about ordering some books. That's been on my mind for my birthday's coming up next month in August. So I've been thinking about buying myself some books that have been on my list for a long time. But I've been finding a lot of books at the Book Nook, interesting books. So yeah. So I hope you're all doing well. As I said, you're all in my prayers. I do thank you for standing by me in these days. And have a good new week. We're going into the end of, pretty soon we'll be in the end of July and going into August. Anyway, the weather here today has been sunny. I got to mow the lawn tomorrow, which I don't really like doing, but you got to be a good neighbor and mow your lawn. My wildflower garden has all become weeds, which has been very disappointing. I don't know what happened. I planted wildflower seeds and all I got was I look at my wildflower garden as a place for the rabbits to eat and to sleep during the day. Well, I'm just rambling. Hope you're all doing well. May the Lord bless. You're in my prayers. Keep praying for me. And until next time, bye.